if you tell somebody that you are saved and they say, oh, that's a surprise, it means something is wrong with your authenticator. But if you tell somebody that you were saved and they say, I knew it was something about you, but I just couldn't put my hand on it, what are you saying? It got to be something other than the fact that you say you are saved that reveals that you're saved. It ought to be a hunch about you. It ought to be an innuendo. It ought to be an inkling. It ought to be a sign. It ought to be the way you talk. It ought to be the way you walk. It ought to be the way you move. It ought to be the way you act under pressure. It ought to be the way that you handle business. It ought to be the way that you raise your children. It ought to be the way that you're seen in the midst of difficulty that lets folk know I'm born again, even though I never told them I'm born again.